Xbox has been dropping some pretty tasty sales lately, and that backlog is starting to get pretty scary. I somewhat have a habit of bleeding my wallet dry these days, but hey, when Xbox provides another sale, there's always some cracking games for us to pick up. With that though, we have a total of 15 juicy games on sale this week, and these are all at the best prices that we've ever seen before. Do remember as well to comment below, as I do give away a free game each week on our Wednesday sales videos, so let me know what you're playing on Xbox currently, and check back this coming week. With that though, let's dive right into these incredible deals coming for our wallets this week. First up, and from the team behind Yakuza, Lost Judgment was a fantastic mix of gripping detective drama with streetballing action in the bustling alleys of Yokohama. You basically play as a private investigator juggling different crime scenes, moral choices, and obviously the occasional and ridiculous side mission as per any Yakuza game. The story really is great though, and I would say it's one of the strongest within the spin-off lines of these Yakuza games. Of course, when you're not solving murders though, you can unwind by skateboarding, boxing, or just tackling the series' trademark minigames. Usually this one is a pretty pricey title that doesn't go on sale too often at all, but is now down to just £10 thanks to an 80% discount. For me, this is an absolute steal for such a deep, stylish narrative adventure game, and I do highly recommend it. Isonzo has to be one of my favourite FPS games this generation, and it drops you into the rarely explored Italian front of World War I, and offering a grounded tactical multiplayer shooter that values teamwork over twitch reflexes. Every match is a gritty tug of war of different trenches, and then coordinating assaults across stunning alpine landscapes. The focus on that authenticity though is absolutely remarkable, and if you love games like Hell Let Loose or even Insurgency Sandstorm, then you will absolutely feel at home with this brand new series. Of course, like these games do, the more coordination between your different squads means that you'll definitely win some more matches, and I have to say Hell Let Loose is the closest experience to it in terms of its communication. While it's not as flashy as different modern shooters today, it really captures the atmosphere of World War I better than most games out on the market. If you enjoyed Deliver Us the Moon, its sequel Deliver Us Mars really builds on that narrative-driven atmospheric sci-fi formula. I am kind of hoping though that we do get to see another Deliver Us adventure in the near future, as it was a shame to see quite a few of the devs being laid off. Other than that though, if you do step into this one, you will take on the role of Kathy Johansson, an astronaut on a desperate mission that's trying to recover stolen colony ships and secure humanity's survival. The gameplay has a mix of stuff like climbing, puzzle solving and exploration, with a cool cinematic storytelling element with haunting landscapes of Mars that are both beautiful and isolating. The motion capture work gives the characters some real emotional depth here, and I'm actually quite surprised how well it's been implemented for such a small indie team. Normally though, this one is priced much higher, but is now down to just £7.50, and for that price, you really can't beat it. Atlas gave us a chance to relive an absolute classic with Persona 3 Reload, and the result was bloody spectacular. This full remake brought us modern visuals, voice acting, and gameplay refinements to one of the most influential JRPGs that's ever been made. If you don't know what Persona entails though, you basically balance high school life by day, and then explore what's called Tartarus, and that's a nightmarish tower filled with tons of monsters by night. The new presentation in this remake, alongside the combat updates, make it so much more approachable without losing that emotional weight. It was on Xbox Game Pass for quite a while, but did leave a couple months back now, and if you didn't get a chance to play it, now's the perfect time to grab it with that 60% discount. A hidden sci-fi gem on Xbox is known as the Invincible, and it's now on sale for only the third time ever, and even brings its lowest price yet with 50% off, bringing it down to just 15 quid. This narrative-driven space exploration game is based on a novel by Stanislaw Lem, and really immerses you in a world of hard science fiction, philosophical themes, and stunning retro-futuristic visuals. You will be playing as an astrobiologist on a mysterious planet, uncovering the fate of your lost crew while encountering some bizarre alien technology, and also uncovering the secrets that challenge your perception of reality. It has honestly some pretty gorgeous visuals and really thought-provoking storytelling and atmospheric tension throughout the experience. For me, The Invincible was such a unique sci-fi adventure, and you'll love it especially if you like games like Firewatch or even Summer. Atomic Heart is a fever dream of Soviet sci-fi gone absolutely bonkers, and the fact we're getting a second entry sometime next year has me so bloody excited. This game contains a world that's just full of malfunctioning robots, psychedelic experiments, and philosophical undertones that's all wrapped up in a sort of brutal FPS shell that sort of gives me Bioshock vibes in the best way possible. The premium edition though, which I'm highlighting today, does add in all of the 4 DLC packs alongside the digital art book and some nice little cosmetics for your weapons, which overall is a pretty decent package. I will say though, this game is not perfect, but it does get pretty unforgettable, especially around its boss design, and has some pretty enjoyable gameplay. At £33.24 after a 65% discount, it's the full package, especially if you crave something visually spectacular, weird, and unapologetically bold. Normally a pretty mid-tier release, and now down to £14, this next game is one that's just straight up dumb fun, but in the best way possible. Even though this game didn't review that well, it's still a pretty fun time, and many have enjoyed the game for what it is. South Park Snow Day really ditched that sort of RPG format of the previous games, which were really great by the way, but then instead throws you into sort of chaotic 3D action with co-op brawling and all of the crude humor you kind of expect from this franchise. It's incredibly fast, silly, and honestly, it is pretty much a blast. The snow-covered setting combined with that sort of absurd special ability moments really had me laughing more than I expected. Like I said, really don't go into this one expecting anything deep or even a Game of the Year contender. Instead, just go in with good vibes and laughs, and you'll no doubt really enjoy this one like I did. Under the Waves is an introspective underwater narrative adventure that actually trades explosions for emotion. In this one, you play as Stan, a diver that's living in isolation deep beneath the North Sea, and you'll be grappling with stuff like grief and memory as strange phenomena begin to unfold around him. The story is told through a lot of exploration alongside the hauntingly beautiful environments which you can see on screen now and are filled with so much marine life and loads of mystery. It's less about survival and actually more about reflection, and it's a slow meditative experience that's visually stunning and emotionally resonant. Think of it being a game like Firewatch but beneath the waves with a melancholic edge. At just £5 after an 80% discount, it's an absolute steal for something so atmospheric and incredibly heartfelt. If you miss the days of Saturday morning cartoons and 2D action platformers, then Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Creed, yes, that's the game's full name, delivers pure old school fun at the very best. You basically command a team of over-the-top heroes, each with their own unique weapons and abilities, as you storm through colourful levels packed with loads of enemies, traps, and explosive bosses. It is a Metroidvania, but with a lot more personality. It also contains some pretty snappy controls, vibrant animations, and some great tongue-in-cheek humour that really keeps that pace lively. You can actually swap between the characters mid-run, which adds some more tactical depth to it, and it doesn't actually slow down the entire amount of chaos. Normally this one is pretty overlooked, and I bet many of you have probably never heard of it, but it's one of the most polished indie action games of recent years. At £5 with a 70% discount, it's a no-brainer, especially if you like stuff like Metal Slug, Contra, or even Guacamelee. Windjammers 2 did a perfect job of reviving such a cult classic arcade action sports game, but with a modern flair. It's essentially Frisbee meets fighting game. You will be facing off in one-on-one matches, hurling discs at lightning speed while performing special moves and even counters. The hand-drawn art style really pops though, with obviously the vibrant colour and kinetic energy, which you can see on screen, whilst the soundtrack hits that sort of pure 90s arcade adrenaline. I actually played this one all the way back when it did launch, and although it has been quite a while since I personally played it, I remember that the matches are quite short and intense, but that makes it perfect for both casual and competitive showdowns. At £5 again, thanks to a 70% discount as well as the previous game, it's a fantastic pickup, especially for party nights or online duels. It definitely takes a lot of skill to master, and it's impossible not to smile. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning is one of those games that really deserved a second life, and it did actually get one. The remastered version sharpened its visuals, smooths out the combat, and bundles in all of the extra DLC from the sprawling 2012 RPG. The world of Amalur though, it really is bursting with so much lore, written in part by fantasy author R.A. Salvatore, and the combat really does remain its biggest strength, as it's fast, fluid, and dynamic, especially for a game that came out before modern action RPGs took over the scene. There honestly is enough loot, side quests, and stories here to keep you busy for multiple weeks, yet it's very approachable for a lot of us newcomers. At £8.74, thanks to a 75% discount, it's finally priced like the hidden gem it always was. If you missed it the first time around, now's the perfect chance to explore this overlooked epic. If Diablo feels a little bit too dark for you, then Torchlight 3 brings the same addictive loot grind but with a brighter and more cartoonish flair. It's really easy to pick up as well, but loaded with enough customization to keep you hooked from hours upon hours, with loads of pets, forts, skills, and endless gear customizations. The cel-shaded world really does pop with color, and every encounter feels very fast and fun rather than grim or punishing like the Diablo series. It's not quite as deep though as its predecessors, but it really nails the essence of what makes the Torchlight series so great, that being a breezy ARPG that's fun and loaded with personality. Right now it's down to just £5 thanks to a massive 85% off, and it's great if you're a fan of casual action RPGs or if you're just someone looking for dungeon crawling comfort food, as it's just pure joy. Few games have ever reshaped the RPG genre like Baldurs Gate 3, and for me this was an easy choice for Game of the Year back in 2023. Every choice, dice roll and dialogue branch feels alive, and I still really don't understand how Larian built themselves such a masterpiece. It is built on D&D's 5th edition rules, meaning it lets you tackle your problems however you wish, through stealth, persuasion, magic, or sheer chaos. The writing is just utterly phenomenal, and the performances are really top tier, with the world reacting meaningfully to everything that you do. It's one of those rare RPGs that feels handcrafted down to the tiniest details. The co-op was delayed but later added to the Series S, and it was a great addition, providing such another layer of great hilarity and also chaos when your party inevitably splits or just fail rolls spectacularly. While £43.50 after a 25% discount isn't the cheapest on this list, it's absolutely worth it, as you'll spend hundreds of hours on this one game. Few action games out there have ever matched the sheer speed and spectacle of Vanquis, and to this day is still an action game that still firmly sits in my top 10 of all time. Directed by Shinji Mikami, the same dude behind Resident Evil and also The Evil Within, this is actually a sci-fi shooter and not a horror game, and it's all about kinetic energy as you're constantly sliding across battlefields in rocket-powered armor, and that's all whilst dodging bullets and unleashing stylish slow-motion attacks that look bloody insane. The campaign may actually be short compared to today's standards, but it's pure adrenaline from start to finish and stands against most of the AAA games in today's era. It's arcade action at its very best, and this version gave us a 4K remaster that sharpened the visuals and also the frame rate, making it feel surprisingly modern. At £5, this Platinum Games gem is a must-play for fans of stylish shooters, and it's one that will leave your jaw on the floor. Set in the dark grim underbelly of Warhammer 40k's Hive City, Necromunda Hired Gun is a fast-paced, brutal FPS where chaos really does reign supreme. In this one, you basically play as a bounty hunter that tears through gang hideouts with cybernetic abilities, that being wall running, grappling, and just blasting your way through the neon-lit corridors. This game is so bloody messy, violent, and unapologetically over the top, with your cybermassive companion joining the carnage by mauling enemies mid-fight. The gunplay does feel really satisfying, with a classic mix of shooter design with modern flair, and whilst it doesn't have the strongest story and does have a bit of rough edges around it in terms of sort of glitches and some bugs here and there, it definitely makes up for it with its speed and style. At £6.50 thanks to an 80% discount, is an easy buy, especially for anyone who sort of loves those sort of Doom-like action games, but with a gritty Warhammer twist. What game are you looking to pick up in this week's sale? Have you managed to pick up anything over the last couple of weeks? Do let me know down below, and obviously do check back this Wednesday to see if you won that free Xbox game. Do smash that like button as well if you did enjoy, and if we hit say over 600 likes, I will give away a couple of games instead in next week's video. Whilst you're here though, and if you do want to check out some more awesome Xbox content, why don't you check out the video on screen now. I recently covered all of the great games that are coming to Xbox this week, and there's a few that will definitely have you intrigued.